you can do things in a right way. Like you can age with grace, or you can sit there and resist it and then just look pretty awful. I'm going to name a big name here on who I think is a big offender, but
What's up, homeboy?
how you doing? How you doing? My name is Britt. I'm with the Temple of Mercy. I've played in some other bands, most notably with this man himself.
Oh yeah. You know, this is interesting. You're doing the show intro. I like it.
I like putting the pressure on you, man.
Yeah.
You gotta steal your thunder.
Yeah, I'm stealing my hunger. I'm gonna steal your rug.
My rug? Don't steal my rug.
Yeah, it really brings the room together.
A kiss without a hug is like a room without a rug. That's the saying I live by. And I actually I do really like rugs. They help a lot. They keep the floor warm. If you're in a garage apartment like I used to live in, keeps the heat in or the air conditioning. And it just really does bring the whole room together. I like them.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're doing here today, is it?
No, not really, but it's okay. You know, I'm so lost right now. This is the third episode of Premature Elaboration. I am your host, Mike Terror, and with me is what do you call yourself?
I call myself Britt. I'm a tribute musician. I'm a musician. I am not a physician, but I'm willing to look at you.
I like that.
Thank you. Thank you. Rightly, I came up with an impromptu.
Well, you know what? I do have something you can look at.
Oh, Lord. I'm wearing the glasses. I'll just keep my eyes closed. Go ahead and show me. Okay. What would you like to show me?
Oh, it's just my smile.
That's a good smile. I like it. Thank you for sharing.
You know, Jesus, this jacket is hot. Or is it just getting hot in here?
I think it's the jacket.
Yeah. I should have worn a onesie like yourself.
We should have coordinated like that, yeah. Oh, well.
Oh, get ready for microphone noises. The jacket's coming off. Yeah, buddy.
Look at that, look at that. And while keeping them gloves on. Those are fancy gloves. Did you buy those? Did you make them?
Well, I purchased them on a fairly popular website that made trillions during the pandemic. You probably heard of it.
AliExpress? Alibaba? Temu? What was that weird?
Was Temu even? No, they had Wish at the time, I'm pretty sure.
That's what I was thinking of. Oh, Wish used to have the weirdest things. I like their advertisements. Sorry, for our English viewers, advertisements.
Yeah, Amazon. I got them on Amazon. You can buy lots of Michael Jackson things on Amazon.
Oh, that's great stuff.
But not authentic autographs.
I don't even know how much that would go for, to be honest.
Me neither. I have a Michael Jackson autograph.
Really? Oh, that's right. I showed that to my wife. We're both huge Michael Jackson fans. Totally envious.
Yeah, it's a little bit surreal. I have it next to my sink, so I can look at it when I'm at the sink.
We go to the sink a lot, so man, that's a good spot. It's a happening place.
You know, my sink doesn't work, so I just fill it up with bullshit.
No, wait, why does your sink not work?
Because it was built in the 1970s and they don't have replacement parts for it. And it stopped working and I just used the bathtub instead.
No, okay.
Would you like a drink, sir?
I would like a drink.
Oh.
So do you ever pee in the sink? Oh no, probably because there's no water that can go to it.
Well, I had a friend that used to pee in my sink when I was younger, but he did it just to piss me off. Or because he thought he was funny, one or the other. But he also urinated on the carpet.
Okay, that's just nasty.
Yeah, that's just mean. Why would you do that to somebody's carpet on purpose?
I don't know. I had roommates once, and the guy just got so absolutely drunk, he just puked all over my carpet, and then thought it was funny, and then like didn't even stop playing video games. I'm like, bro, what is wrong with you?
Wait, he
Stop.
vomited?
He vomited. Yeah, I mean they were just drinking, playing video games, and then he just vomited all over my carpet. This is a house that I owned. Just did that, and I mean, like, good God, what is wrong with you? Pick it up. No,
That's
don't make me. It's gross.
I mean, these things happen.
It absolutely does. And speaking of other things that happen, I've noticed there's a phenomenon that goes on that we don't really talk about that much.
What's that?
Well, I'm glad that you followed up my statement. So, basically, I like to have some drinks. I like to have some beer. And I pissed the bed with my wife next to me. Now, she didn't notice. She climbed out of bed. So I hit up my family. I'm like, guys, I feel so embarrassed. I just pissed the bed with my wife next to me. I'm like, yeah, that'll happen. Oh. Okay.
Well, is it because of drinking, or is it because of incontinence?
I don't want to blame the alcohol here. That's the last thing I want to do. Actually, I'm not even sure. It kind of stopped happening. I think I just go to the bathroom more.
The last time I urinated in my sleep, in my dream, I was at a urinal, and I started pissing in my dream, but like I felt it all over my legs. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you're watching it go into the toilet. What's going on here? Did you realize it in the dream?
Well, at that point, it woke me up, but by then it was too late.
Yeah,
that's
that's a classic move right there. It's happened to me too, where it's like I'm over the toilet. I mean, still to this day, since I was a child, I'll pinch myself. Like, okay, if I wake up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, I'm gonna pinch myself, make sure I'm awake. Okay, let her rip.
Let her rip.
Let her rip. Now, there was another bathroom mishap that I did have in New Orleans, and I mean, I was not happy about it. So, I had a show in the French Quarter. I was super happy about it. And the headlining band took forever to get set up. I mean, they had all this gear, etc. And I mean, the time was well spent. But I didn't plan appropriately. So I didn't know that sound check was going to be like 2.5 or 3 hours. So I kept ordering beer, thinking I don't have time to go get some food in my belly. I'll just have another beer. I'll just have another beer. And then I had to use the restroom. And this was at it's a place with vampire fangs in the background. Oh, I can't remember it.
Oh my, sounds fierce and gothy.
Oh, it is terrifying. Anyways, it's a great venue, but what happened was their bathroom is atrocious. And I went in there to go use the restroom. It was dark. I couldn't see anything. There's no door for the toilet stall. I'm just like, okay, I got to try and get this done. I got to get this done. And I thought I got everything. I kept wiping. I was doing my due diligence. But I missed something. And then I just got further hammered. And then clearly the smell erupted from me. It was quite obvious I had shit my pants a bit.
Wait, so were you playing drums when you smelled the shit?
No, I was, no, it was when I was walking around before the show.
Okay.
But I didn't have time to do anything about it.
You can always throw away your underwear.
Well, I threw away the pants, and I mean, so the next morning, what happens is, I wake on up, first thing I'm going to do, I got to buy new pants and get rid of this. So I'm walking down the street, my bandmate sees me, he's like, hey Britt, get in the car, man, we're going to go do something fun and exciting. I'm like, no, why not? I need new pants. You can get new pants afterwards. No, I need them now. So I had to spell it out for him. I need them meow.
Wow.
And then I just went ahead and told them, and they started laughing. And I mean, I still joke about it. I still think it's fine to laugh at yourself and don't take yourself so seriously.
Oh,
but
it's
try not
important.
to shit your pants that much.
Well, luckily it's only something that happens in a blue moon. If it happens all the time, then maybe it's time to reevaluate certain things in your life.
Yeah. I think that was 2 years ago. I try to be clean. But yeah, that night I was in fine form.
You know what though? If you, to be fair, if you trust the wrong fart, it can happen to anybody.
That happened the other day. That's how I learned about mucus. Mucus in your intestines.
Yeah,
I trusted a fart, and it was all juice. And I was like, oh God, now I got to throw away my underwear and not have my wife discover me. Babe, I'm taking out the trash. Do you need anything else taken out?
that's that weird gooey, sort of yellowish,
Yeah,
clear substance.
it's all mucus. And
You know, the first time that happened to me, I I was wondering if I got in my sleep and somebody ejaculated in my ass. And I was like,
you got a weird fantasy, man.
it was. I mean, it was a question because like it didn't make sense to me. Like, how did it get in there? Where did it come from?
You didn't
So,
put it in there.
I sure didn't.
Yeah.
Anal mucus.
Anal mucus. It's there to help things slide along.
Wow. Oh, pubricant.
Oh, that's the best word for it.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I had a different definition for it previously, like in the song "Diarrhea, Diarrhea," where I'm talking about if you when you're all up in that booty but don't need no extra lubey, diarrhea, diarrhea. When you're covered all in duty but you stay banging that booty,
Diarrhea.
diarrhea.
Yeah.
To me, that was the pubricant. But now that you tell me, now that you've identified the mystery substance, I feel like my life has changed a little bit. I'm a little bit less worried.
I'm glad I can contribute to that. Yeah. Nobody came in and violated your booty hole.
Do you think-
are still a virgin. Well, anyways, moving along at a brisk pace.
Wait a minute. Do you think most people have that? They fart the weird clear liquid?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, in my case, I think what happened is I was getting over whatever respiratory virus was just going around in the winter of 2023. Something nasty was going around, and just my lungs and whatever was just all wrecked. And I think just some of that got into my stomachs or my intestines even just produced too much. That's normal. Now, babies will shit yellow as well. Their stomach is still getting ready to make a nice big boy, girl poop, whatever.
But that's not like a clear substance. That's yellow poop, right?
I don't know. I've never looked at baby feces.
I had one. I had a baby.
Yeah. How were the
And,
feces?
They take many different forms. The first initial shit of a child is going to be black.
Gross.
Yeah, they warn you beforehand. They're like, it's just the stuff that's in their body. It has to come out after birth.
The doctor tells you that, like, hey, look, your baby's not broken. Don't throw them away.
Right.
No refunds. This is normal.
I had the honor of changing the first diaper.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. You know,
Pretty cool.
I can get black poop too if I just have some red wine.
Really?
Yeah, I'm told that that's not normal.
Huh. Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever shit a black substance.
Yeah, red wine does that to me, but I love my yellowtail, Cabernet Sauvignon.
You know, I've heard that if you eat a whole lot of grapes and you take a shit, you will see the skins of the grapes in the shit.
I believe it. Yeah, if you can get it through your system fast enough, you can see a lot of things that used to look delicious.
Not to change the subject, but something I like to do on this show is I like to explore your creative background. You know, you are a musician. You've been involved with several projects, one of which I'm pretty excited about that I hope makes a resurgence in future days. But like, what initially got you into performing?
Okay, that's a great question. So, ever since I was a kid, I just liked rock stars. I would watch Michael Jackson videos and just fantasize about being mega rich and having all these fans and putting on amazing shows, just dancing and music. I think I got into music when I was in the second or third grade. I eventually, of course, got into the current artists such as Nirvana. I stopped being a fan of Nirvana back when he was alive, and it's weird to even think that my brother got to see a Nirvana show. So I've always had an interest in my dad as a musician as well. He played in the Groovy Ghoulies and the Flame Trick Subs, among some other bands. So I mean that side was always there, but I never really fully practiced or rehearsed or had been in a band until I want to say in my early 30s. Like there was just a very long stretch where I was the guy who had a guitar in the corner of the room, and that's where it's going to stay. But I eventually started doing medical studies as a form of making money, and they basically lock you up. You can't go outside. You get super bored. So I started treating that as boot camp. I'm going to sit here and practice these scales. I'm going to play guitar. I'm going to do all this stuff. And I got better. I started meeting other people. I met JT Trash of Pure Rubbish, and then I met Glenn of Richie Ramone. So my dad is a drummer, and I always loved drums, but drums were just such a hassle because they make a lot of noise. They're expensive. It was, big cost up front, and then you have to have a specific living situation, which I had a hard time having. So I kept doing the medical studies, and then eventually stopped, and then I just made a promise to myself. I'm going to sit here and practice for a day that may never come. 30 minutes a day, or I'm sorry, 2 episodes of Family Guy. I'm going to put on the metronome, and I'm just going to until it's nice, smooth, and perfect. And I made this promise to myself. I'm tired of living in this reality where I'm terrible at music. So I just started doing that and practicing and practicing. And like I said, then I eventually met JT Trash and Glenn. And those guys helped me make more sense of music, how it operates. Look at the song structure. Break it down. Do this, do that. It's easy. You're overcomplicating it. It's not one giant piece that you're doing. It's only 3 parts. Learn the parts. There's 3. Learn how they're arranged, and that's it. Oh my God. And they encouraged me to learn drums because I had some natural talent for it, and so I kept on doing it. Eventually, I would either be in the band or out of the band and kind of back and forth thing. But every time I learned a lot from those guys, and they've been absolutely instrumental. And then I saw another local artist you might know. This guy was amazing. Oh my God.
Oh?
Yeah. This guy, he had a band called Mike Terror.
Oh.
I went to the Fitzgerald show, and I was like, this is great. I'm finding local musicians that hell yes, this is what I want to do. I'm inspired. And I had initially kept pestering you, please let me join your band, please let me join your band. I still had a lot of time that I needed in the oven to get better, and et cetera, et cetera. So I was a bit too eager. I needed more time in the oven. And so I spent my time in the oven. I kept working hard, once again, for a day that may never come. But I ended up joining every band that I worked hard that I wanted to be in, and getting to intimately know these local musicians that I love and respect, and I feel really good about that. My journeys would eventually lead me to starting my own tribute band, the Temple of Mercy. We're a Sisters of Mercy tribute band. And the band has done so much for me. It's been a lot of fun. We just recently went up to Washington, D.C., all the way up to the Northeast Coast. We've done that, I think, 2 or 3 times at this point. One West Coast tour I was not able to join on. And then I eventually started jamming with a local legend, James Rivera. And James Rivera, if you're not familiar with him, he's in Hellstar and a lot of different tributes around town. The guy's incredible. Him and Ronnie James Dio would sit there and talk to each other regularly. If I wanted to talk to the people in Megadeth, they're just a phone call away. So I was really lucky about that, and seeing the absolute love and determination and seriousness that people like him have. It can be intimidating sometimes. It can also be inspiring if you look at it that way too. He's a very friendly person. He's one of the kindest in the business. He has a great reputation, and I'll verify that. But he's also very passionate about the music, and I learned a lot from him, and he's great. So I've done a lot. I play guitar, drums. I can get away with being a singer, and I owe a lot to you and to people that have helped me along the way.
I always felt like you, during your time drumming for Mike Terror, you brought a presence with you that made us feel more raw, like we were more virile, so to speak. You know, I think you performed once in a leather jacket, a Speedo, and a belt that said YOLO.
Yeah, that was a good belt.
Yeah, and that was a great show. I could, no matter what, at any point of the show, I could always deflect to look at our drummer and his wonderful outfit choice.
I was a pretty boy back then.
Well, you know, we were all pretty at one point or another. I've certainly outgrown many of my Mike Terror outfits. It's weird to say that. I feel like I'm speaking in third person.
No, I can fully relate. I feel like you can do things in a right way. Like you can age with grace, or you can sit there and resist it and then just look pretty awful. Like I'm going to name a big name here on who I think is a big offender, but Robert Smith of The Cure looks absolutely terrible. Now, if he wants to keep his long hair and do things, like I cut my long hair because, it's thinning. I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to lie. I simply don't think it looks good anymore. I'm going to admit that to myself. I have to make concessions.
Sure.
Robert Smith, he's a great person, but his appearance can be absolutely abysmal.
You have to finish that because I finished mine.
Yes, sir. All right, tell me an anecdote.
Anecdote?
Yes. Anecdotes are jokes, but not funny.
Oh, anecdote.
Anecdote?
Is that what that's the word?
Okay,
a joke that isn't funny?
Yeah, that's an anecdote.
My dick's on fire.
Tell me a Garfield joke. Where could my pipe be?
Man, you can't tell a Garfield joke. You have to see a Garfield joke.
It's just wild that Garfield makes almost $1 billion a year.
I feel fortunate that you exposed me to the very strange world of internet interpretation of Garfield.
The internet is very random and enjoyable, and I have a love of internet culture. There's so many things that go on. There's a few YouTubers out there I do enjoy. I just like listening to the internet drama. There's Wavy Web Surf, I think is his name. Truly enjoy him. He chronicles the history of YouTube stars, people that used to be popular. What happened to this guy that used to drink gasoline? What happened to I want to do hood rat shit with my friend's kid? What happened to these people? The angry German kid. It's like, wow, I'm kind of curious. But anyways, so I want to flip the script. What got you into music? Oh, yeah.
Well, okay, let me see. As a kid, my interest in music, it's sort of bittersweet to me because I remember like sitting there popping CDs in the entertainment center and listening to different shit like Top Gun soundtrack, and my mother always used to play a lot of country records and stuff. And what really got me motivated, or what lit my fire as far as musical interest, was Michael Jackson's Thriller. But once I saw that was instant. But then I saw everything else, and I was exposed to Jackson 5 and the array of his career at that point. We're talking about maybe late 80s, early 90s. What had happened so far. And that got everything started. I sort of credit Michael Jackson's Thriller with the spring point of the rest of my artistic existence.
I didn't know that. It's same for me.
It's, that's why I have this tattoo. Some people think it's Teen Wolf, but no, that's fucking Michael Jackson's Thriller.
I would recognize the jacket, but not the monster.
I know, right? Well, okay, the tattoo artist made the fur brown. So it looks more Teen Wolf than it does Thriller. But, you know what? I forgive him. That's okay.
It's a cool jacket.
Yeah, I want one. I bought a Thriller jacket. And I bought Yeah. You know, it continues to be an influence, right? But back to the point. You know, music, I feel like, at least for me, shaped my existence. You know, you learn things from different people and lessons in your life, from your parents, etc. But music is the soundtrack to everything. And at some point, I sort of feel like music took over and put me down the path that I was actually supposed to be on. One day, my brother told me, he's like, hey, I got this program called Fruity Loops. I can make music. I was like, no shit. So he started making weird things, and then I got a hold of it, and I started making weird things, and I fucked with it for a few years and made a bunch of awful sounding stuff. But one day, I made a song called Holy Water Enema.
Really?
That was the first Mike Terror song.
And so the current band is you kind of nickel backing, circle
Yes.
backing.
Yeah. Reverse human centipede.
Actually, yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if that's worse. I think that's actually better, though.
But that's where it started. And I just started growing and growing. It took a back seat for a long time because, you know, I was promoting other music, other bands, putting on shows and stuff like that. And then I started getting, for me, the catalyst was songs in my head. I felt like the music I wanted to hear didn't exist. So my brain started creating it. And then I started writing shit or hearing shit, and I put it together in the Fruity Loops, and I made really awful sounding stuff, and here we are.
It's part of the process.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you got to learn. With any medium, you have to learn your paintbrush and your palette.
And your limits, and respect the limits, and...
Oh, you can't respect your limits. You have to push them. You have to fuck them in the ass.
Absolutely.
If not, you're not gonna offend yourself. You have to offend yourself, and move forward, sonny boy.
We need to go forward, not backwards, upwards, not forwards, and always twirling towards freedom.
I don't know what this reference is, but I appreciate it.
It's The Simpsons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, in regards to respecting personal limits and stuff like that, like, so one of the things I had to accept was that I'm not a fantastic guitarist. That's my limit. And you know what? That's okay, because I don't have the desire to sit there and take the time and effort it takes to do all that. Okay, fine. This is my limit. I have a hard time transcribing what's in my head into chords and melodies. By the time I find the first note for what I'm trying to get out of my head, the whole melody's gone, or it's just changed, and it's just, everything is just intangible and difficult for me to grasp. And that's where drums for me just simply worked a lot better. And I started to realize some of my limits, which is one, I don't really like songwriting all that much. And you know what? That's okay, because there's a lot of people out there who are writing songs that need people in their band. And I think this works in tandem with my love of drums. Drums are just fun to play. Just to sit down and make noise or take seriously, drums are just always fun, except in August when I'm sweating nonstop, which is when it seems like it's the busiest time for drums. So with my lack of love of songwriting, not being able to transcribe melodies in my head, there's one thing I can do. I can rock a melody, boom, 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 bam, whatever. I can help somebody else's song, and that's one thing that I do love about drums so much, is somebody comes to me with a riff. Hey, listen to this riff, make it work. Okay, I kind of hear what they're going for. It was about finding the right instrument for me, and like I said, working with those limitations. But to reinforce also what you did say, screw the limitations and always push yourself, absolutely, but work hard in the right areas. And that's something that I wish I had heard every day for the first, I'm 42 now, 42 years of my life. Working hard in the right areas.
Yeah, sounds like sex.
Oh yeah, you can work soft in the right areas too. So let's see. There's a bevy of things we can talk about. I could talk about how to schedule shows across a tour, like of America, or my impressions of the Northeast.
Wait a minute. That sounds very interesting. The impressions of the Northeasterners.
They're great, absolutely fantastic. Love them. Yeah, I'm not even being nice here. I just love them. They're fantastic. So the reason, so I had wanted to move. Most bands, whenever they start, they want to tour the West Coast. It's the dream. We're going to go west. We're going to play Los Angeles. And thank you. Spasiba, drug.
Kaka Jablomi.
Cocktaila means how are you? Cocktaila. Always talking about cock. Anyway, so whenever most bands start, they always kind of want to go ahead and go to the West, play Los Angeles, get discovered, make it big. And it sounds like fun. And that's something I would recommend, but I don't like touring the West Coast because it's so much driving. I mean, your daily schedule is going to be that you wake up, drive to the venue, load in, play the show, go to the hotel, sleep, and then drive to the next place, which is going to be forever away. It's like, let's say you have an 8 or 12-hour drive. You don't have time to do anything else. You don't get time to take in the sights. And once you get to Los Angeles, people just don't care because there's so many other people there doing the same thing. So, man, why don't we try something in the Northeast? These cities are all super close to each other. And I love it up there because they are super close to each other. So over there, it's more like, okay, you are going to wake up, get out some time to kill, actually go check out some of the cities, enjoy some local food, talk to some people. I got about 4 or 5 hours of free time. Maybe I'll even take a nap. And then we're going to play the show and then go to the hotel and then drive 2 hours to the next spot. Beautiful. And I was really lucky to meet, oh God, what is his name? Matt. I can't remember his last name right now, but he runs Dark Salem. This guy, I still brag to the day about how hard this guy works. So this guy, he lives in Salem. He runs the Dark events up there, DARQ. Don't spell it with a K. That's for squares, all right? Ooh. Yeah. And there's no goth clubs there, so this guy had us playing in a sushi restaurant, which is a little strange, but all right. I got some sake. I got some sushi, got some discounted whatever, and he makes these events work. This guy works so hard nonstop. I mean, he will take the day off from work just to go around in a full outfit and talk to people face to face. Hey, I'm throwing on a show tonight. You should come to my event. And he just goes out there, spends the entire day doing that. I mean, this guy sleeps like 2 hours a night, maybe. And he's just the most dedicated person I've ever met out there. I've met another guy, Stefan Sonic. This guy just loves rock and roll and has been chronicling it since the 70s or 80s for quite a while now. And there's just so many positive things to say about the Northeast. I would recommend musicians, especially playing dark music, to do the Northeast and Florida and Louisiana. You're going to find a lot bigger crowds there. You're going to find shorter drives. It's going to be more affordable to a degree. And there's just a lot better sites to take in. I love the Northeast.
You know, I appreciate that perspective. Once Holy Water Anima releases this record, and I want that project to venture out and get some more shows and this and that. It's weird how little we've actually performed out, but like going on a tour sounds appropriate for that because I feel like it's something that people can enjoy. And I mean, you're talking about darker music. I don't know if Holy Water Anima is necessarily dark.
It's got the aesthetics. It's got a sort of industrial energy to it. I know it's, God, I don't want to say rap. I don't want to say hip hop. What is it? Horrorcore?
Well, it's a lot of things. I mean, because you're going to have anything that you intentionally leave guitars out of, for the most part, is going to sort of venture into electronica. But just for a mere format, it's obvious that hip hop is a huge influence. But also, even for silly shit, the format is basically industrial.
Yeah, and it's not trying to be industrial.
No,
It's not forced.
it's like industrial on accident.
And I think it's that's a much better approach because it happens organically. If you go out there and just keep playing a bunch of A minor songs and doing boom, clang, nee, 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 ignore that melody. But you
I
get my
agree.
point.
I
Like
like
if you're trying to force it, it sounds forced. It doesn't sound organic, and it just sounds like you're just trying too hard, man.
Pee pee, poo poo, pee pee.
Pee pee poo poo. So what I would recommend is talking to the major promoters out there, and you're lucky enough that you could probably travel all in one vehicle, make it
Yeah.
a lot more affordable. I would recommend camping out at the campgrounds or getting a place to stay in the guarantee, because it seems like I would just completely rather forego getting paid at this point because how expensive lodging has gotten.
I hate the business aspect of music. I don't want to do any of it.
It's an unfortunate thing you gotta do.
I'd rather hire somebody or have like a manager that's not a fucking asshole.
Oh,
Not saying that all of my managers are assholes. I know you're watching. I appreciate some of you.
Be careful who you hire. Vet them out is my advice. I'm trying to stay tight-lipped because I don't want to speak ill of people, especially those who are actually trying, but maybe not getting the results. But vet them out, vet them out, vet them out.
Of course.
Yeah, lodging is expensive. There is an alternative to that. So there's the truckers' camp stops and camping grounds where you can stay for free. So if the weather's good, you can just stay out for free. They have vending machines, they have restrooms, they have internet.
How do you avoid lot lizards?
Deserts?
Lot lizards?
Lot lizards? Wait, why would I want to avoid a lot lizard?
I mean, you know,
They make money, honey.
I'm sure they do. But I just, assumed.
I haven't actually followed my advice on this one yet, so I don't know what to tell you. But I have slept on a couple of sidewalks.
Me too.
I
In
didn't-
Waco, of all places.
What were you doing in Waco?
I was involved in a project like years and years ago, and we slept on sidewalks and spent lots of time with homeless people.
They're all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I slept on a sidewalk in New Orleans waiting for a bar to open. I was driving home from New Orleans after a show. I thought I was going to make it. It's only a 6-hour drive. 6 hours is nothing. And then, halfway through, it's like getting to be like 4 a.m. Like, nope. We're going to get to the border of Texas and Louisiana and crash on the Texas side, not the Louisiana side. That side's bad.
Why is that?
The state funding just doesn't have it as nice. Nicer restrooms on the Texas side, and I was heading that direction. But I bought a Buc-ee's blanket and used that to sleep on that night. I'm really glad I bought that blanket.
I appreciate your Buc-ee's garb.
You noticed?
It's hard to ignore.
Not
that I would try to ignore it, but I mean, it's very stylish.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody noticed it.
And comfy looking at that.
It's quite nice. I even have Christmas socks on.
Are they Buc-ee's Christmas socks?
No, I forgot to bring my Buc-ee slippers. Wait, yeah, gingerbread man.
Oh, okay.
Good. He doesn't have the Lukashenko mustache. All right, nice. Yeah, no, I love Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's is a lifesaver. The last tour, as we were coming down from Washington D.C., ended up. I ended up, I think, in West Carolina, West Virginia, or whatever. I'm kind of shitty with remembering all the states over there. Ended up over there, and I saw my first Buc-ee's, and that's when I knew I was back in the South. We were getting close to Florida. I was like, oh, hell yeah, Buc-ee's. I'm going to grab me a brisket sandwich. My God.
You know, they have really good fudge there.
I have never had the fudge.
But this is going to sound like an advertisement. I was in, the fuck is that state? Where's the Arch? In St. Louis.
Missouri.
Missouri. Okay, yeah, I was in Missouri. There's a town called Uranus.
Nice.
And it is about maybe an hour north of another town called Licking. So you can be licking Uranus
In a day.
100%. But when you get to Uranus, they have the Uranus Fudge Factory. And it's not lost on them how hilarious that is. They take great pride in fudge packing in Uranus. They even have a newsletter that you can subscribe to. Exactly. And they have a website. You can order fudge freshly packed in Uranus.
I'd like to be licking that right now.
You'd like to be licking my anus?
The fudge from Uranus. Don't be a freak.
Sorry. I just default to that.
Yeah, no, it's all good. No, I mean, there's Hershey, Pennsylvania, and there is the official Hershey Highway, which is also known as a butthole in slang. Yeah, no, there's a few weird places out there. I'll always remember. So I always remember there's a story from the Dark Carnival Brothers, Insane Clown Posse, ICP for those who are cool. We're having a contest where you could hang out with the Wicked Clowns in a place called what was it? It's after a game show. Truth or Consequences, I think is what it was called. Huh. Truth or Consequences was a game show, and I think there was on the game show, I think this took place in the 70s, maybe early 80s, and they dared a town to go ahead and name themselves after the TV show, and Truth or Consequences did. New Mexico or Arizona. Anyways, it's somewhere out in the desert. And I always remember that, Shaggy and... what is it, Silent Bob or Jay? What was the other guy's name?
Silent Gay.
Silent Gay. Yeah. So anyways, Silent Bob and Jay were like, hey, yeah, go ahead and enter this contest, and you'll be hanging out with us at like this little crappy motel out in the middle of nowhere. Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, I think. It's like, man, that sounds awesome.
Was this in the 90s? I don't remember this.
This was like 2000 maybe, or 2001. Like, it was a while ago. But I just remember they said, like, yeah, by the way, don't bring a freaking camera and try and take pictures of us without our makeup on. Like, don't be that guy. We'll just go ahead and cut shit early. But yeah, it was like you got to spend a week just hanging out with them. Like, at a little no-name dirty motel in the middle of nowhere. And I just always really admired that.
They, even with the notoriety they've achieved, they're pretty fucking down-to-earth guys. In my few interactions with them, I know. I'm so sorry. I should have brought a larger bottle.
That's all good. I got room next door.
I've met both of them on different occasions. Had conversations and such. The most memorable interaction I had with Shaggy 2 Dope was we were at the gathering of the Juggalos, and he was hanging out at our campsite, but I was asleep.
Damn it!
I was in the tent, and my friends, they thought it would be funny if he would bust into the tent, wake my ass up, and tell me that my shit was on fire. So that's exactly what happened. They busted in my tent. They're shaking me as Shaggy Two Dope is saying, "Your shit's on fire, man. You're burning. It's burning. You gotta get the fuck out of the tent." Blah, 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 blah.
How
So-
did you respond to that?
Well, I woke up and I got outside the tent, and we all hung out and shit. It was cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was all right. It was drinking.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised with their overall legacy, considering the reputation of some of the fans and stuff like that. So, I mean, I grew up, I think I discovered ICP when I was 15 years old. Some girl that like was staying at my friend's house was listening to them, and then I just took that one song, "I'll Be Down with the Clown." That was the only song that she had, and I was like, wait, I like this, and I listened to more, and I was like, oh wait, I really like this. So I really got into them until I want to say I was about 19 years old. I went in a New York classic punk rock direction, like 1970s punk rock. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna focus on this now.
For sure.
I was embarrassed a bit that I listened to so much Insane Clown Posse and whatever. Like, I mean, I really liked what was it? Jake Jekyll was the last one that I had. Mm-hmm. I was like, man, this is good. I'm sitting here listening to hardcore punk rock. I'm listening to not grindcore. No, hell no, not grindcore. That didn't even exist back then. What am I saying? Oh, no, I was listening to jungle music and punk rock and trying to expand my musical horizon. And I got embarrassed to be an Insane Clown Posse fan for like many years. And then I think, it was back in my early 30s when I started listening to them again, just kind of like as a whatever thing. And I'm like, wait, this was always good. Mm-hmm. This was always good. And just the legacy of the way how they've behaved, them as a band. I think when the Butterfly came, I think they came out as Christians and said, if you listen to all the stories that we tell, it's always bad people. It's always bigots, thieves, murderers, liars getting hurt.
Yeah, they made their intentions clear. They said that that they sort of had a certain presentation, and maybe some of that is intentional, maybe some of it's not. I think in their words, they snuck the positive messages in subliminally with all the wicked shit around it, right? And having that as the presentation sort of delivered it to the people that needed it the most, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely, because I don't know how to say this, like, I guess a nice way. There's a lot of Insane Clown Posse fans that are definitely in need. Those who maybe have problems controlling the behavior or just trashy, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And they have a hard time escaping that. And I think Insane Clown Posse helps them realize that, like, look, maybe I am this person, but I can still be a good person.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like, look, I'm down with this trailer park life. There's a trailer park right across the street, by the way. I live in a mobile home.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I haven't necessarily heard it put in that way, but I think it's true. There's a lot of people out there that are lost, that are kind of fucked up and doing fucked up shit, and intersecting, their path with Insane Clown Posse and their message has enabled them to sort of steer their life in a more positive direction.
100%. And I mean, I don't want to present myself as like a religious person or whatever, but there's this saying that Jesus goes where he's needed. And that's why he didn't spend time in the palaces and whatever. That's why he spent time around the poor and the hungry and the prostitutes. And when I was in Amsterdam back in 2007, I think, maybe 2006, I stayed in the red light district. I stayed at the cheapest place I could find, and it was a Christian hostel. And I was like, what is a Christian hostel doing in the middle of the red light district? I mean, this is where the sinners are. And it's like, yeah, Jesus goes where he's needed the most. These people need some sort of guidance in their weakest moments. And that's what we're here for. I'm like, damn. Cool.
Yeah, wow. That's
It was also €10 a night with a free breakfast. And then to make matters more cool, you couldn't show up like wasted. So it was kind of like living with my parents again, where it's like, you get home, you've been drinking and smoking all night. Your parents are like, so how was your night with your friends? Oh, it was great.
3 prostitutes and a lot of liquor.
I totally didn't get wasted tonight. That's good, honey. And I mean, down the street was the house of Anne Frank, and then about a 15-minute walk from there was the Heineken brewery. And the thing that blew my little pea-brain American mind was Budweiser is good over there.
That's weird.
Isn't it?
It's not good here.
It's terrible. It's terrible piss water. I don't care if you like Budweiser, it's piss water. Cancel me.
No. I can't drink beer, but I've had some Budweiser in my day.
I used to balance myself between Budweiser, Lone Star, and Ziegenbach. Those are kind of the ones. Budweiser was always a little pricey, but it was actually better quality than Lone Star, and I'm not going to back down on that. Lone Star just would give me a headache. It was so watery. Ziegenbach was the same way, but it was cheaper than Lone Star, so
It's
I
like
actually
Natty
liked it better.
Light or something, or Red Dog.
Oh, I loved Red Dog. I loved the commercials.
I sure did. I drank a lot of it in my youth.
Me too. And I like the Fosters. It made me feel like I'm some sort of manly Australian man. I was 18 when I was drinking it. But it was good stuff. I don't know. Nowadays I just stick with Hopdillo, which is a subsidiary of Budweiser.
I gained an allergy to beer right before the whole craft beer thing started.
Oh, that's a shame.
So I missed all of the good shit.
I've heard women say that a man's jizz has the same kind of aftertaste as IPA beers.
Really?
And I hope that's not true. Maybe I need to try it just to confirm it. But I don't know. Maybe I can be like, sip, sip, sip.
So you're gonna try your own.
No homo.
Just have your wife spit it back into your mouth.
Oh. But no, her girl mouth will have cleansed everything
Oh.
and makes it straight again. And that's
See.
why it's okay to... I'll just stop there. Snowball. That's what it's called. Snowballing.
Yeah, it's nobody's kink shaming here.
Nobody.
It's.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, I'm not.
Have you heard of felching?
Isn't that where you take a straw and suck your own cum out of somebody's ass and spit it into their mouth?
Yeah.
But okay, here's the thing about cum in somebody's ass. Cum has a property, to my knowledge. I'm not a clinical expert or anything. Semen has a property that sort of breaks down. Like if you ejaculate into a woman's vagina, and
I
she
like
has the mucus plug that's there while she's pregnant, it'll help break down the mucus plug. The same sort of thing happens to feces if you ejaculate into an asshole and the semen touches the feces, it breaks it down and makes it more liquefied. So, if you shoot your cum into somebody's asshole and you suck it back out, it's more than likely going to have elements of fecal matter in it.
Possibly, and the anal mucus that we discussed earlier.
Wow. But how can you tell the difference? I think the anal mucus smells like cum too, right?
I haven't actually put it on my finger and up against my nose. But I will say that there is absolute validity to what you said, though. So recently, I was watching a YouTube video, and I don't know, it was getting into butt stuff. And it was a YouTube video, not a YouPorn video. I mean, I haven't been to YouPorn in a long time. Anyway, so as the intestines work, is that there's something that starts with an A. We'll just call it an areole. I forget the word for it. And it's like big fingers, and anything that travels through your intestines has to travel through these fingers. And as they travel through the fingers will absorb important nutrients that are still good, like water and other processable food. Most of your feces is actually, I believe, dead red blood cells and stuff like that, like expired body waste, like blood waste. And with these fingers that are in your intestines, there's also micro fingers on each of those to help be more efficient to pull in all this water.
Just a lot of fingers playing with poo-poo.
There's a lot of fingers up your butt, man.
Word.
So if you had a magic power to learn an instrument overnight perfectly, without consequence or effort, what would you choose?
A harp.
The harp. Why the harp? That's a surprising answer.
Because it sounds really cool.
Not because of Bugs Bunny.
No, I don't even remember Bugs Bunny playing it.
I think he played it in the Killed a Wabbit video. I don't know. I feel like I've seen Bugs Bunny play it.
He might have.
The harp is quite a big instrument and quite loud. It's actually really impressive.
I didn't know it was loud, but it seems like it might be. I don't know where it gets its resonance from.
Me neither. I just remember when I was like 12, I went to a restaurant and they had a live band and somebody had a harp and it was so goddamn loud. Absolutely loud. I hate I hate it whenever restaurants have live music and they don't think about the audio.
Yeah, it can be really jarring. You know, if I had half a comedic brain, I would have said the skin flute.
You want me to say it again?
Oh, for replaying it.
I thought you were already a master of the skin flute.
Well,
That's what it said in the bathroom at the mining company.
certainly
in the Montrose
practiced a
area.
lot in my day, but I don't get to play for very big crowds.
Aww.
You know.
Well, it's not about the big crowds. It's about the enthusiasm.
And I guess if you play it for somebody who enjoys it, you know, that's all that really matters. Is that the art form in itself can be enjoyed,
You got to play it for you
or somebody else.
or somebody else.
Yeah, if you play their skin flute.
If I could choose one, man, I mean, guitar is quite a nice choice, but at the same point, I just look at keys and synth. And I mean, you just hear great synth players like, I never knew the guy's name. I know he's dead now, rest in peace. The keyboardist for the Stranglers. That guy was an absolute beast. And I mean, I love the Stranglers. They were a type of punk rock that was not common, where most punk rock is like fast guitar, whatever. The Stranglers were mostly focused on bass and keyboards, and they really weren't angry, and they were just such a good band. I really love those guys. I'm so glad I got to see them when I got to see them. The keyboardist died. I believe the original drummer Jet Black died. I got to see them, I want to say, 10 years ago in California. That was their last American tour. Absolute legends.
I've never heard of them.
They predated the Sex Pistols. They predated a lot of people. Oh, no, wait. I'm thinking of the Vibrators. The Vibrators predated the Sex Pistols. I'm not sure when the Stranglers came on the scene. Oh, goodbye.
Oh, one light died.
Rest in pussy. Yeah, no, I recommend listening to the Stranglers, or actually, you know, I don't even recommend that anymore because I feel like maybe it's my age, but punk rock just doesn't have the same meaning that it used to anymore. I can't get excited about it. Like, I think if you're over 20 years old, it's still punk rock. Come on now. You've outgrown it. You're out of high school. Let it go.
You can, well, me personally, punk rock is always going to be part of who I am. Because you don't necessarily, the style is not important, the bands are not important, it is the purpose, right?
The purpose I love. I think hip hop has the same energy as punk rock. High tempos, strong words, and just a lot of energy. I just mean like the punk rock style, and like I've known plenty of crusties, people that have basically willingly made themselves homeless over their lives just to fit a mold. Oh, well, I'm punk rock, man. It's like, dude, punk rock was about individualism. You're just doing what they tell you. You're just fitting into a scene.
Rage on behalf of the machine.
Rage on behalf of the machine. I was a huge supporter of the punk rock scene. I loved, as I mentioned earlier, 1970s punk rock. I mean, I really loved the band Television. Oh my God, I still jam those guys. People talk about New York Dolls, all that other stuff, Patti Smith. I mean, the whole CBGB's scene spoke to me so much louder than like the English punk rockers who did the Mohawks and all these other things. I mean, that stuff is cool. I love that stuff, and I believe it was authentic within the first generation, or first two generations, maybe third generation. I remember John Lydon even commenting on it, saying it's the Me Too bands that ruin new music genres. You have the first wave where everybody's serious and it inspires a bunch of other people to come out and make their own kind of bands that are similar. Well, okay, these guys are doing this. Well, I want to sound like these guys. And so then you do it too. You become a Me Too band. The message actually gets diluted over time and becomes not even a parody of itself. It becomes something worse. It just becomes soulless and just... I can't stand it whenever people look an entire way just to fit a mold. Oh, I've got my plaid punk pants. I've got my my Doc Marten boots with spikes on, and I've got like 3 belts. It's like, dude, you are following this by a paint by numbers thing. There's nothing original about you. I nowadays look at people who are dressed plain as a bit more interesting. Like, this guy's not following any rules. Does he have wacky hair? Does he have an eccentric outfit? No. But he's a fucking maniac, and I love that. Like, look at I'm going to go with a fictional character here because, it's easier to relate. What was that guy? Bob Odenkirk plays Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul. I would love to hang around that maniac. Looks normal, but he's up to some shenanigans. He's always up to something.
Touching tips.
Dick tips. Since we're talking about touching dick tips, since you brought it up, and it totally wasn't me, if you take your foreskin and put it over another man's dick, that's called docking.
I've heard about this.
Nice.
But I don't really understand the point, other than,
Other than, I did it.
yucky.
Oh, I think it's just a bucket list item.
Sure.
Like
So
Motley Crue is for John 5.
Isn't that cool that we can touch tips and dock inside each other's foreskins? We can even, if you get close and open the tip, it's like a little mouth. You can make them kiss. Isn't that cute?
I heard somebody call it battling tummy sticks.
No, that's really cute.
It's adorable.